Adam Morrison, 28 a game. He'll give you 30 easily. You make him mad, Lenny, he may give you 40. He's done that a couple of times this year.
Well, he's the guy with the Prince Valiant haircut and the Attila the Hun competitiveness. No question about it. All you got to do is get him riled up, and you bring out the best in Adam Morrison.
UCLA and Gonzaga for a trip to the Final Eight, and the tap controlled by the Bruins. Here's Farmar coming off an 18-point game in their win over Alabama. He hit a career-high tying 5 threes off the mark on his first.
Now that first shot was just let me get the nervousness, get the willies out. That's a lot quicker than Ben Howland would like to see in his offense.
Morrison curling down the lane, the teardrop, and he gets his first shot to go.
And Adam Morrison, you know, you think of a great scorer like him, always looks for the three, but he's more than willing to take the mid-range shot.
Rivio with the rebound. Here comes the Zags. Rivio, no. UCLA the other way. As I mentioned, 29-6. 14-4 in the Pac-10. They won the regular season in the conference tournament. Aflalo a three. And the rebound going to Luke Richard. Amute.
Well, he's a terrific rebounder. Led the Pac-10 in offensive rebounding with about 3 a game.
Only a freshman from Cameroon. Farmar, Amute, and an offensive foul. He picks up his first. Let's take a look at the keys to the game.
Well, for Gonzaga, you've got to embrace diversity. You got to look to others if Morrison's not on early. And, of course, UCLA, you got to body up. That's been the Ben Howland trademark. Turn up the perimeter pressure, deny Morrison, and also it helps to deny the low post.
Now Morrison posting. He can do a little bit of both, and he traveled.
Well, you see right away, Morrison, the center of attention down low. He gets double, and he tries to fight his way through the double team and travels.
The Zags and Bruins have met one time, December of 1999. Gonzaga winning the game 59-43. And a whistle on the baseline. Foul coming up against Gonzaga.
Well, Gus, this is obviously a battle of defense versus offense. You know, UCLA holding opponents under 40% field goal shooting. Last two opponents average about 51 points a game in this tournament. Flip side of it is Gonzaga shooting 48% from the field, average 84 points in this tournament. Something's got to give.
Farmar. And a whistle and foul. This will go against UCLA. Ryan Hollins picks up his first, the senior 7-footer. Defensively for the Bruins.
Well, again, they've had a terrific month. Only 54 points per game allowed. And 80 points to one team this year, and that was Memphis. And if UCLA wins this game, that'll be their next opponent.
Now Mallon coming off a 15-point, 10-rebound game in their second-round win over Indiana. Batista picked up his first foul. On the other end with the ball right now, backdoor out the door, Cespedes. Mallon posted, can't hold on, taken away by Bozeman.
And there's that defense again up.
And Adam Morrison called for a foul as he held Bozeman in the backcourt.
A pretty good defense. Looked like it was a turnover, but when the official called it, Morrison owned up to it right away. Should have said, yeah, I got him. You're right.
Kid has been compared to Larry Bird, Pistol Pete Maravich. He says, I am none of those guys. I'm Adam Morrison.
And you know what? I like that because, first of all, those comparisons are so unfair. Kid's got a unique style of his own.
Rivio from Vancouver, Washington. Quick little point guard inside. Batista, the intended receiver. Mallon throws it out of bounds. Gonzaga with 3 turnovers to start.
Well, again, you talk about jitters. Gonzaga seems to be the one right now. I mean, even though both teams not exactly setting it on fire, Gonzaga leading 2-0. But UCLA seems to be getting better looks.
Amute off the mark. And a whistle and foul coming up. Ryan Hollins with the offensive rebound. And he will go to the line. So UCLA, in the first 2 rounds, they defeated Belmont and then Alabama. Tough game against the Crimson Tide. 62-59 the score. Farmar leading the way. Coach Howland, what a coach. 4 years at Pittsburgh, 5 years at Northern Arizona. And he's taken 3 different schools to the NCAA tournament. He's the Pac-10 Coach of the Year. And you've seen him a lot covering Big East games in the past. His system is a system that really strives on defense.
Well, if you can't play defense and if you're a perimeter guy, you can't shoot the 3, you can't play for Ben Howland. I mean, it's that simple. He likes his people to be versatile. He likes the ability to stretch the floor. But more importantly, you got to be able to stop people.
Now Morrison, quick 3. Rims off. And a loose ball. And a foul coming up. Mallon picks up the foul, his second. And a sub quickly in the game, David Pendergraft, a sophomore.
Well, again, we talk about embracing diversity for Gonzaga. Sean Mallon, one of those guys. When Morrison wasn't on, 15 points, 10 rebounds against Indiana. Early foul trouble could loom large for Gonzaga.
Farmar, the point guard for UCLA, playing with a tender wrist. He says it's okay. He's got it taped up. That left wrist, guarded by Altidore Cespedes. Terrific little defender. Inside one-handed pass. Hollins turnaround jump shot, no. Batista can't hold on. Pendergraft comes up with the rebound. Now Ribio for 3. Count it. And a foul call.
We're going to take a look right here. The defense from Aflalo on Morrison, grabbing the jersey, or at least getting caught up in the jersey. And that was the foul call.
So Aflalo picks up the foul, his first. Aaron, a sophomore from Compton, California. All Pac-10 first team, averages 16 a game. But he's got to play D tonight. They want him to guard Adam Morrison. And talking to some of the UCLA people, they don't plan on double teaming Morrison. They may double team Batista.
Well, they double team Morrison in the post. Maybe it's because they're going to double team everybody in the post.
That one going down for Errol Knight, a senior from Seattle. And he gives Gonzaga a 7-2 lead.
And again, going back to Aflalo playing defense on Morrison, as you see Gonzaga in kind of a 1-3-1 zone. Aflalo, if he's going to guard Morrison, he's got to stay away from the cheapy fouls. Grabbing a guy's jersey or getting your hand caught up in the jersey will come back to haunt you down the road.
And the Bruins throw it away. And the zone caused UCLA some problems in their second-round game against Alabama, but they eventually figured it out. 15:39 to play in the first half. Gonzaga with a 7-2 lead over UCLA. Gus Johnson along with Len Elmore. Backdoor and a foul coming up against the Bruins. Earl Knight, who has also been plagued with a high fever, 102 temperature earlier this week, goes to the line. Foul called on Roll, Michael Roll, a freshman.
Roll just in the game. Nice job out of the timeout to pick on him.
CBS Sportsline is your destination for complete tournament coverage. Get bracket updates, video highlights, and expert analysis for each tournament game at cbssportsline.com.
And if ever there was a time where defense makes a difference, it's now for UCLA. 0 for 6 from the field, not able to get their offense on track. They've got to limit Gonzaga until they do get some offense going.
The winner of this game to move on to take on Memphis, who defeated Bradley in our first game of the night. There's the zone now by the Zags. Jump shot inside off the mark for Darren Collison, a freshman. Here comes Gonzaga. Knight, rise and fire. Tracks down his own rebound.
Oh,
and Morrison. Ribio couldn't hold on. Pretty good balance.
His thumb was on the line. And the official right on top of it saw him try to skip a little bit more. A long pass. Mark Few saying, hey, you got pushed. You couldn't see that?
Now Farmar. Lorenzo Mata has checked in for UCLA.
Gonzaga back in the man-to-man now, changing defenses. This is a young UCLA team, and they seem to be having some trouble. The ball was tipped by Rivio. That's why no backcourt violation.
High pick and roll. Farmar keeps it alive. Mbamute to the basket, way off the mark, gets his own rebound, and draws a foul. So a look at the 4 #1 seeds. Duke, the overall #1 seed, going down this evening to LSU. Congratulations to the Bayou Bengals. Connecticut will take on Washington. Nova against BC, and Memphis defeating Bradley. First free throw good. J.J. Redick, 3 of 18 from the field tonight for Duke, but he ends one of the great careers in ACC history. All-time leading scorer.
All-time leading three-point field goal maker nationally.
Mbamute makes it a 9-4 game. Morrison in the front court. He's been patient offensively so far. Only 2 points. He's taken 2 shots.
And he's been hounded by long, lean defenders right there. Bozeman now, prior to that, Aflalo. He'll see that all evening.
Knight rejected by Mata, out of bounds. Lorenzo Mata, sophomore from Huntington Park, California.
Comes over nicely to help. Now, he was up high enough to be able to control that ball. What you want to be able to do is knock that ball back into play so your team has a chance to get it instead of allowing Gonzaga to re-inbound it.
Now Bozeman and Morrison get a lecture from the officials. Bozeman very physical with Morrison to start the game. And a foul call, the legal screen on Josh Heitfeld, a freshman from Clarkson, Washington. He picks up his second.
And again, UCLA having a lot of difficulty, 0 for 8 from the field. The only point scored from the free throw line. And when you're having that kind of situation, you look for a post up, you look for a drive, try to get to the basket.
And another foul coming up against the Zags. That's Heitfeld again. Called for his 3rd. And he'll have to come out of the game. Batista quickly off the bench. And everybody talks about Adam Morrison, but really it's J.P. Batista who is kind of like the engine that makes this Zag team run.
Well, it's the same thing like with Duke when Sheldon Williams, the guy who can give you 19 points, 9 rebounds a game, shooting almost 60% from the field. You know, and you can count on that night after night. Mark Few says that that's an important piece of the puzzle.
Mata making the first. Tuesday on CBS. Their missions are classified, but that hasn't stopped the unit from being discovered by over 31 million viewers. Catch a new episode Tuesday on CBS.
You know, you talk about both Morrison and Redick, obviously terrific players, player of the year candidates, but without guys like Sheldon Williams or J.P. Batista, you know, would they be able to put up the same numbers that they had?
And a foul called inside. Pendergraft getting to the basket with the ball fake. Aflalo flopping. And Aflalo picks up his second. No field goals for the Bruins.
And that's good news. I mean, they're in the ball game, you know. Right now, a 4-point deficit, now make it 5. But who'd have thunk it? You know, 8 shots, no field goals, and you're still within striking distance.
Adam Morrison heading off onto the bench. Second free throw good. Zags take an 11-5 lead.
And both coaches looking to rest their leading scorers. Aflalo goes to the bench for the Bruins, and Mark Few decides to bring Adam Morrison and sit him down for a rest.
Back door, Mata. Ball thrown too high by Farmar. Fargo has come in now, along with Rivio in the backcourt. Rivio to Pendergraft, banks it in.
Boy, how about Rivio again? Very smart with the penetration and kick. They know how to build a lead.
Gonzaga with a 13-5 lead. Back after this.
Number 15, Adam Morrison returns from UCLA, replacing Lorenzo.
UCLA off to a rough start. Fargo to the basket. Gonzaga takes a 15-5 lead. UCLA is 0 for 8 from the field. And the Bruins have turned it over 5 times, maybe 6. Let's see. Right now, the Zags just overwhelming the Bruins. And as you mentioned, Len, this UCLA team is very young.
Absolutely. This is experience taking over. The intensity necessary to play at this level, of Sweet 16 level, Gonzaga has it, and UCLA doesn't.
This is the 4th Sweet 16 for Gonzaga. They advanced to the Elite 8 in 1999, defeating Florida, losing to the eventual national champion Huskies from UConn.
And to go back again to the lack of experience, on defense particularly, everything UCLA is doing is uncharacteristic. You take a look, 50% field goal percentage or better in 6 straight games. They were the #1 team in field goal percentage in the Pac-10. Obviously today they're shooting a bagel. But again, uncharacteristic on the defensive end. A lot of reaching, not playing position defense. And again, it comes back to not understanding the intensity level, the level of getting back to fundamentals that you need at this Sweet 16 level.
Rivio, one more free throw coming. He gets it. Zags take a 17-5 lead currently on an 8-0 run as they get back into that zone.
And again, for UCLA, you're 0 for 8 from the field. You're definitely thinking about it.
And another turnover by the Bruins and a foul called. UCLA shaky to start this game.
Well, you're being kind. Shaky. I think they're embarrassed. They should be at this point in time. Not only are they not able to score, they're not even able to hold on to the ball. And they're half of the floor.
Foul called on Umba Amute, and that will send Pendergraft to the line. Misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Bozeman with the rebound. Let's see if the Bruins can settle down here and attack this zone. Gonzaga playing a 1-2-2.
With an extension way out on the wings. A sweet spot right there under the free throw line when the ball's at the top. Got to be able to flash people in there. There you go.
Mark Few saw something in UCLA's second-round game. Blocking foul called on Pendergraft. Alabama with only 7 scholarship players forced to play a zone, and UCLA struggled. 17-5, Gonzaga with the lead. 11:50 to play in the first half. A 2 versus a 3. The winner to move on to take on Memphis, who defeated Bradley, a 13. And Coach Howland trying to figure out how to get his guys settled down and also how to figure out this Gonzaga defense.
Well, first of all, I think that until they figure out the defense of Gonzaga, they certainly can create some offense off of their defense. As I mentioned before, uncharacteristically going away from fundamental sound defense. We talked about UCLA and how tough they were defensively, but they're reaching, as I said, not getting good position, not even rebounding the ball the way that they're capable of rebounding. And it just comes down to guys just taking it upon themselves to forget about the score, forget about their woes on the offensive end and dig in and play D. The rest will happen and some good things will happen.
17-7. Morrison back in the game. Pendergraft, Batista, Fargo, and Rivio. Morrison calling for it. Knocked away by Bozeman. Nicely done.
That's much better defense right there. .11:34 to play, first half. Gonzaga
up 17-7 inside, and a whistle. And foul coming up. This will go against Mata, his first. And so far, the Bruins' two top scorers are struggling.
Well, they certainly are. Obviously, you see them 0 points for both. And quite honestly, nobody's doing anything from the offensive end. And 7 turnovers. Again, this is a team that's just had difficulty in playing their brand of basketball. It came in jittery. Gonzaga seized upon that, utilizing their experience, their intensity, and UCLA has not been able to match the intensity.
Mute back into the game. Batista, one more free throw. Gets the second. Farmar in the backcourt. Three-quarter court pressure by Gonzaga.
And you like the way Gonzaga continues to change the defense. They've got a scared, confused team out here right now that hasn't found the answer, and there it is, at least one.
Finally a field goal for UCLA. They are now 1 of 9. Aflalo, who struggled in the first half against Alabama, didn't get his first field goal until the 13:55 mark of the second half. Batista off the mark. Mute with the rebound. Here comes Farmar in transition. Fires a three and hits. Now we've got a ball game.
It's amazing how that becomes contagious. Somebody puts it in the basket. Now everybody gets in the act for UCLA, they hope.
And they play a little harder defense. Morrison lost it. Knocked out of bounds. Will stay right here.
And you notice with the made field goal, all of a sudden the defensive intensity picks up. That's a sign of a young team. They need somebody to lead them. They need somebody to lead them through actions and example. And once that gets started, everybody's able to rise to the challenge and play up to their potential.
Derek Collison checks in for Aflalo. Bozeman still chasing Adam Morrison. Morrison double team. Batista. Rivio. Kickball with the shot clock at 14.
Well, again, UCLA making sure that Adam Morrison picks up the dribble, gives it away to someone else, taking the ball out of his hands. Nice job on the double team and also on the cover after he gave it up.
Morrison coming off a 14-point game against Indiana. Hits the runner on the baseline. And he has 4 points.
That's something new to his arsenal. You don't see that often. I haven't seen it often throughout this year. And that's what we mean by he can score any place on the floor. He's made an adjustment, and it works for him.
Bozeman weaving his way. Now Farmar. Collison likes it in the corner. Mute with the rebound and a foul called on Knight. And this will send Luke Richard to the line.
And I tell you what, Knight, if he's going to guard Mute the rest of this evening, he's going to have his hands full, particularly on the offensive glass. Never stops moving, never stops battling. And particularly on the weak side glass, you've got to block him out and lock him. Knight tried to hold him by grabbing the jersey and got caught with it.
Mute from Cameroon has been playing basketball for 5 years. Misses the free throw. Mata there, just can't hold on. Rivio, Knight to the bucket. Aflalo couldn't hold on. Batista with the rebound, and he's fouled. We've all seen Tiger Woods play golf, but seeing him at play off the course is something you'll find only on 60 Minutes Sunday. Foul called on Mata, his second. So J.P. Batista, his nickname, Big Papa. Not Big Papi like some guy in Boston, but Big Papa. He's from Brazil. Coming off a 20-9 rebound game against Indiana. Did a nice job on Marco Killingsworth, holding him to only 12 points. 22-12, Zags.
Well, one of the things that helped hold Killingsworth to 12 points is the tremendous pressure that Batista places on people who guard him on the other end of the floor. That's one of the best ways to shut down a good offensive player, make him play defense.
Aflalo spinning inside, got it up off the heel.
You know, he's making that shot harder than it needs to be. Aflalo. All he had to do once he made the first move, just a quick elevation and shoot the jumper.
Knight for three, Rivio rebound and stick back. Ben Howland has seen enough as he takes a look at the clock. Rivio with 7, 8:59 to play first half. Zags are rolling. Gus Johnson along with the big man, Len Elmore. Gonzaga a 3, leading UCLA a 2. The winner to take on Memphis, who defeated Bradley after getting great performances by Rodney Carney, the All-America. Farmer. And Farmer off the mark. Rivio in the front court lets it fly.
Quick shot by Rivio, but again, you got a 12-point lead. You can afford to take a few chances like that.
Rebound inside and a foul coming up. Ryan Hollins out of John Muir High School will go to the line. He's a senior. And a look at the game summary.
Well, look at the field goal percentage. That pretty much tells the story for UCLA. Again, turnovers and inability to put the ball in the basket. Gonzaga, veteran team, has been able to capitalize on the opportunities they've been given by UCLA.
And subs coming in. Roll hits the bench along with Mbamute, Bozeman, and Alfred Aboya, a freshman, also from Cameroon, come into the game for UCLA. Second free throw goes down. 8:31 to play first half, 24-14. Zags with the lead.
But even though they're down by 10, you see some signs of life. The offensive rebounding.
Nice play.
I was just going to say pretty good defense. And then the senior Batista goes back door. Nice cut and recognition. Take a look right there. Sets the screen. And that's the best way to get open. Set a screen and then move. And obviously Batista saying, keep on looking for me, baby.
Morrison, the decoy, as he popped out on the wing. And Big Papa goes to the line. First team All West Coast Conference. 15 double-doubles this season. 19 in his career. Adds the free throw. 8:21 to play, 27-14. West Coast bragging rights on the line tonight. UCLA and Gonzaga. Largest lead of the game for the Zags. Bozeman a 3. Babied it. Hollins rebound inside. And Pendergraft comes up with the air ball.
Boy, not even close to good position by Ryan Hollins. He just kind of threw that up there. You got to fight for position.
Morrison, the high archer. Bozeman with the board.
That's good D by Hollins, though.
Aflalo on the break.
You know, you talk about Gonzaga. This is a team that's not a great defensive team. Opponents shoot 43% on average, 35% from beyond the arc. But they will outscore you. They average 80 points a game.
Morrison down the lane.
And they expect that offense to keep them in any game, keep it close, and then they turn it over for Morrison to provide heroics.
Farmar almost threw it away, gets it again.
See, that's the guy they need to get into this ball game. Jordan Farmar just not in it right now.
Seems like he's having a hard time penetrating the zone. In the corner, Bozeman, no. Loose. Morrison with the rebound.
You know, Flalo has gotten involved offensively a little bit, other guys, but Farmar staying on the perimeter, not penetrating, not putting any pressure on the Gonzaga defense, whether it's man or zone.
Batista posting up. Bumping and grinding, jump hook, counter.
Boy, he has perfected that little turnaround baby right-hand hook. Hard to stop.
Another timeout call by the Bruins. 6:42 to go. Zags up big. Let's take a look at the stars this evening.
Well, obviously, J.P. Batista and Adam Morrison getting involved as the rest of their teams. 14 of the 31 points for Gonzaga, but Farmar and Aflalo, neither one of them really involved. You know, 7 points, but they should be the bulk of this offense for this team, for UCLA. And really, this is a coach's nightmare right here if you're Ben Howland. You know, you work on this, You've watched film, you've had a chance to really prepare for Gonzaga. You think your team is ready, and they come out and they can't put the ball in the basket. They can't play defense the way you'd like them to play, the way you're accustomed to them playing. It's really out of the coach's control.
Well, 10 of their top 12 are either freshmen or sophomores. Farmar, sophomore. Inside, Hollins, pull-up jump shot, and he's had a very solid first half. He's a senior, has 6 points, 31-18.
And on the other side of that nightmare, though, is that you want your team to have character, and so far UCLA continue to fight.
Number 3, Adam Morrison.
Adam Morrison starting to warm up, 33-18. Gonzaga, Morrison with 8 points. He's the nation's leading scorer at 28 a game. Farmar, a 3. Loose ball, just picked up Pargo.
Just not good shots by Farmar. Got to focus on penetration.
And Pargo called for carrying the basketball. And remember, the winner of this game will take on the talented Memphis Tigers, who defeated Bradley. 33-18, Zags with the lead. Back after this. Adam Morrison is not only the nation's leading scorer, All-America, and potentially the College Player of the Year. He is also a diabetic, and this is our Southwest Airlines sideline report. And frequently, Morrison, during games, during timeouts, not only has to test his blood sugar, but also has to take insulin shots. And somehow he manages to still play as hard as he plays, game in and game out. Zags with a 33-18 lead.
With Farmar out of the game, obviously looking for Collison, a little more penetration, looking to get it. Maybe some inside-out opportunities. Aflalo lets one fly there and can't connect.
Now Mallon back in the game after picking up 2 quick fouls. Almost traveled. And did travel.
Good call, ref. You wore a striped shirt in your day?
Not me. No chance of it. So Mark Few, the West Coast Conference Coach of the Year. These Zags have been ranked as high as 4 this season. Backdoor, nicely done.
And that's what they need to do. Focus more on penetrating, getting into the heart of the Gonzaga defense.
Alfred Aboya, the freshman, with his first basket of the game.
I mean, UCLA can always get that three-point shot. The zone is packed in. You can always get a quick 3.
Morrison hard down the lane. How about that?
They gave up on the baseline. Morrison never did. UCLA's got to be able to step on that line and stop the penetration.
Morrison at 14 against Indiana, playing through a fever. He said it didn't bother him, though, because they won the ball game. He has 10 on 5 of 7 shooting. Collison, 8 to shoot, steps back. Gets down the lane. Batted out and tracked down by Morrison.
Now, Collison's not the guy to do that, averaging 6 points a game. When the shot clock goes down, you got to break down the defense. You want Farmar to do that, but Farmar just hasn't been doing it. Maybe he's sitting on the bench getting some perspective and seeing what's available out there. Actually, he's about to check in again.
Out the door, Cespedes. Pinder grab, 12-footer. Mallon, offensive rebound. Fighting hard. Blocked on the baseline by Aboya. And a whistle, jump ball to call. Possession arrow in the favor of the Zags. Back to Oakland after this.
Gonzaga leads by 15, and the story is really Brick City. UCLA's inability to put the ball in the basket. They've gotten some good shots, others they've forced, and quite honestly, others they've kind of shied away from, not attacking the rim. And you see the shooting percentage right there. UCLA just terrible from beyond the arc. The thing that's keeping them in this game, if you can call 15 down in the game, is their free throw.
Jordan Farmar is 1 of 5 from the field. All 5 of his shots coming from behind the three-point line. And Morrison banks one down and draws the foul. And look at the intensity of Adam Morrison.
Well, it's not only the intensity, but look, I mean, here's a backdoor situation. Morrison going away from the ball and coming back. I mean, that's pretty simple. Fundamentally, Bozeman is following him everywhere. And unfortunately, not playing fundamentally sound defense, which means if Morrison's going away from the ball, why are you giving up that position underneath the basket? UCLA just totally taken out of their game.
Morrison now with 12 points. He has 5 40-point games this year, 14 30-point games, his career high 44 against Loyola Marymount. Zags a perfect 14-0 in the West Coast Conference.
You know, and as well as Gonzaga's executing, if you're a UCLA fan, you know your team is better than this.
Mbamute can't lay it down. The rebound to Batista. But this Gonzaga team has taken on all comers this year. Their 3 losses to Memphis, Washington, and Connecticut.
Well, again, some of the point-blank misses for UCLA. This would be a much different ball game if they were able to put some of those shots down, but obviously not. And some of the defensive mistakes they've made.
Morrison fadeaway jump shot, no. Mbamute with the rebound.
Some of the defensive mistakes they've made are unpardonable.
Farmar now getting inside. Has it stripped out of his hands, gets it back. 2-11, Aflalo. And a foul coming up. Mata with great position. Take a look at the losses this season for the Bulldogs. Connecticut, Morrison with 18. Washington, Morrison with 43. And Memphis, at Memphis, Morrison with 34.
In both of those games, the Connecticut and Memphis game, blanket thrown on Morrison in the second half, but that's pretty good. 2 out of your 3 losses are the 2 #1 seeds.
See why critics say The New Adventures of Old Christine is laugh out loud funny. Don't miss Julia Louis-Dreyfus in TV's #1 new comedy Monday on CBS, America's #1 network. Lorenzo Mata at the free throw line. Gets the second. Ryan Hollins checks back in. He replaces Mata. So it's Farmar, Hollins, Aflalo, Mbamute, and Bozeman. Fargo from Chicago. Bringing it up. Does a nice job as the backup point guard. Here's Big Papa inside, jump hook, high and in. Batista.
Batista knows how to use that window. Gets that ball in that square from any angle.
So Batista has 10, Morrison 12, Rivio 7. Rivio diving for it. Unable to save it. Great hustle though for Rivio.
Well, Adam Morrison with 12 points. You see where the intensity there. And here the guile has really overmatched UCLA. They gave up on him on that baseline drive, and his intensity level forced him to continue on instead of falling out of bounds, off balance. And then he just totally fooled Bozeman by running away from the basket and then back to the ball.
Bozeman, Farmar, another 3. And he finally hits one, his second 3-point field goal. He is now 2 for 6.
And for Farmar, much better shot inside out.
Fargo, the kick. Morrison forced it up. Pendergraft picks it up. Rivio straight away. We'll ring it up. Gonzaga with a 42-25 lead. Farmar fouled hard, and there you go.
That's what I've been saying. If he, instead of focusing on shooting threes early in the game, if he start putting pressure on the defense, you'd have much more success. I mentioned before, Gonzaga, good defensive team, not a great one. You can get opportunities if you penetrate, and that's what a point guard has to do. If you're having difficulty scoring, you've got to break down the defense.
Subs coming in the game. So many great point guards have traveled through UCLA. Walt Hazard, Gail Goodrich. Was Gail Goodrich considered a point guard, Lenny?
Goody was a shooter. He is a scorer. A tremendous scorer at that. Both not only with UCLA, but with the Lakers.
Rod Foster, Tyus Edney, Roy Hamilton. Ball thrown out of bounds by Rivio. Farmar trying to pick up on where some of those men left off. UCLA, though, struggling in this one. 42-27. Coach Howland trying to find the right combination. Morrison heads to the bench.
Very important possession, this last possession for UCLA. Even though there's about a 4-second differential, they've got to go out on a good note. I mean, with all the things that have gone wrong, if they can execute, if they can score down here, they have something good to feel going into the second half.
About a 4-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Farmar can't turn the corner. Pargo staying right with him. Now Farmar down the lane, lost it. Mute there, though, with the loose change. 2 seconds. Pargo lets it fly. And that is the end of the first half. Morrison with 12. Batista with 10. We'll send you to Greg Gumbel with Singular at the half after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching CBS Sports on our 25th road to the Final Four.
And UCLA starting to get the feel as they cut this lead, starting to get the feel for penetration against this zone, putting pressure on it, and then moving the ball off of the penetration, getting some open shooters.
Aflalo, Bozeman, Farmar, Mute, and Hollins on the court for the Bruins to start the second half. And a foul called against the Zags. And this will go against Mallon, and it's his third. And it will send Luke Richard Mute to the line. This young man, as we mentioned, is from Cameroon. He grew up a big soccer fan. Cameroon, one of the teams that always has a chance to compete in the World Cup out of the African League. And his father is a chief of a tribe in Cameroon. He goes around as Umbato USA Today and checks to make sure things are working properly in the tribe. Misses both free throws and gets the rebound.
Got bailed out that time by Hollins. And again, that last possession that resulted in the foul was all about getting the ball inside against the zone, either off the dribble penetration or off the pass.
Farmar losing the handle. He's tied up, and Gonzaga will get it again.
Well, we mentioned in the first half, Jordan Farmar has to get into the game. He knows it. He's kind of holding his head down a little bit. You can't feel sorry for yourself right now. Your team needs you.
And you just wonder if that wrist is causing him some problems. Farmar guarding Rivio.
Not on the defensive end.
Here comes Farmar to the bucket, lays it up and in.
See, there you go. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and get out there and play. Jordan Farmar, a very talented young man. You play through the tough nights.
Gonzaga has led by as many as 17. Adam Morrison, the All-America, with 12 in the first half. Rivio cut off. No-look pass. Mallon rejected by Hollins, and he claimed it. Bill Russell style. A follow to the bucket. No! Mute there for the tip-in.
And as we said at halftime during the break, this one's not over. Not by a long shot. UCLA couldn't play a worse first half, and all they needed was to improve a little bit.
And they throw it away. Bozeman to the rack. Kept alive, and finally, Altidore Cespedes comes up with the rebound.
And they cannot let that kind of mess up their focus. They're coming back.
And a look at the tournament summary.
Well, again, we see Duke losing today to LSU. 4th straight season with 2 number 7 seeds in the Sweet 16. And, you know, we had a chance to watch Georgetown, one of those teams, very dangerous team with their size and their intelligence and discipline. They could get to the Final Four with a little bit of luck and same kind of play that we saw in Dayton.
Now Batista posting up. Weak side out the door. Cespedes dumps it down. Deflection out of bounds. Bozeman getting a hand on it, but UCLA is on an 8-0 run from the last minute of the first half until right now.
And you suspect Ben Howland said at halftime the same thing we mentioned. You can't play any worse.
Morrison looking for the ball. They find him on the wing, guarded by Farmar. Morrison inside. Batista, great catch, and he draws a foul. So Big Papa will go to the line.
Well, again, UCLA executing defensively, except for one breakdown. Off the screen, there's the double, and he does a nice job. Mute gets over there just a little bit too late, causing a foul on the back line, not being able to cover Batista as he rolls to the basket. And all it takes is one little breakdown defensively, as Aflalo has to sit, picking up his 3rd personal.
A rough couple of games for Aflalo. Had 13 points, all coming in the second half against Alabama. 44-33. Batista with 12, Morrison with 12 for Gonzaga as they get back into the zone. What do they want to do against this zone if you're UCLA?
You want to go inside out. You got big Ryan Hollins in there. Let him touch it, force the zone to contract, kick back out, and your shooters have to step up. If you have a chance to penetrate off the bounce through the gaps, you try to do that as well. But it's all about ball movement, and it's about penetrating. 6 left on the shot clock.
There's Collison, penetrates and gets there. I think he heard you from all the way over here.
Well, all too often people go east-west
and a steal
against the zone rather than penetrate.
Collison again. And he will go to the line.
Well, right now it seems that Collison better suited in running the offense against this zone than Jordan Farmar, as Collison more willing to put it on the floor and create.
Darren, Rancho Cucamonga, California, only a freshman. Honorable mention, all freshman team in the Pac-10.
Don't you love those California cities? Rancho
I love it.
Cucamonga. And they play basketball there too.
Rivio picked up the foul, his 2nd. With NCAA March Madness on demand, you can watch live tournament games from outside of your viewing area on your computer for free. Sign up now at ncaasports.com/MMOD.
Seems as though Ben Howland still has to get his guys to settle down. Collison, 82% free throw shooter. Got that one out of his system. The first miss.
Bruins playing a lot better. Allows them to set up their full court pressure. And Morrison fouled in the backcourt by Bozeman, who picks up his 2nd.
And again, Gonzaga recognizing that they got a bit of a mismatch there. Bozeman, a pretty good defender long, but you don't have to play, you don't have to body up in the backcourt. Morrison won't hurt you there. He'll hurt you as soon as he steps over the half-court line.
Morrison, the Pendergraft, backdoor. Morrison cut off by Hollins.
Good job by Bozeman that time. Take away the back door, but this screen and roll.
Batista, no, gets his own rebound and sticks it in.
Screen and roll, very effective. And Batista doing a nice job. We mentioned in the first half, the best way to get open, set a screen, roll, pop. Defenders still trying to figure out whether to guard the ball or guard the guy who set the screen.
Batista averages 19 on the season, has 14 tonight. He's the leading scorer for the Zags. Bozeman. Farmar, Mute. Got it.
That was strength right there, upper body strength. Mute just forced that one up. And you need some of that. You need to play some power basketball.
He has 8, 4 at halftime. Gonzaga has led by as many as 17. We've got a 2 versus a 3. Rivio pulling up off the dribble. Collison with the rebound, quickly into the front court, putting pressure on the defense. Hey, young fella. Bruins down by 6. And a foul called on Farmar.
And see, the problem UCLA is having, every time they get a good play, they compound it with a sophomore error. But we talk about Collison, best suited to handle this UCLA offense against the Gonzaga zone. He's getting it done.
UCLA on an 11-4 run in the second half to pull to within 6. Pargo along with Knight, Pendergraft, Morrison, quick release 3. Pure, and the foul. Here comes the All-America.
Well, again, in need situation, you go to your best player. Aflalo looks like he bothered him, but at least from this angle, it looked like there was a whole lot of contact, if any, on the jump shooter right there. And a lot of times guys hit the bottom of that elbow, and that may be what Aflalo was whistled for. And that's his 4th foul, and what a blow to UCLA. He's one of their best, if not the best, perimeter defender and their leading scorer. And both he and Farmar right now on the bench.
Morrison adds the free throw.
And this will be a test of UCLA's depth right now.
Now Gonzaga changing their defense.
So 3-quarter 1-2-2 press.
Bozeman to Collison. Roll has come in and replaced Aflalo. He's a shooter. Bozeman cut off on the baseline.
You got to get good ball reversal. You want to get Roll some opportunity, some open looks. Against the zone, good ball reversal, one side to the other.
Collison, great breaking down the D again. Not this time. Batista with the board, his 5th. Pargo, heavy traffic down the lane, no. Bozeman,
there it
kick.
is.
And Bozeman steps on the baseline, out of bounds.
Well, UCLA back to making mistakes. Jordan Farmar now checks in, trying to give the team a little more stability. Made a terrific run, but you got to wonder if it took a lot of energy out of them. And again, with Aflalo on the bench, not only does it hurt from a personnel standpoint, but psychologically, as his teammates see the best player on the team on the bench, they've got to question whether or not they can come back without him.
Morrison can't give him a space. In the corner. And Bozeman with the rebound. Roll to the basket. Pendergraft with the rebound. Zags with numbers. Pargo, strong. Knocked out of his hand by Mbamute. And now a sub coming back in. Bozeman heads to the bench, and Collison returns. He's done a nice job for Coach Howland, breaking down this Gonzaga defense, especially when they're in zone. UCLA has trailed by as many as 17 at one time in the first half. The score was 37-20. Big Papa, double team, splits the defense, no. Forced up a bad shot. Knight is there, and he's fouled.
He got fouled by the backboard on that one. Again, you take a look. Desperation shot. He goes up, and he got fouled by the backboard. Absolutely. Officials have done an overall excellent job today. That's just one call that they missed. That's what happens.
And the foul called on Mbamute. He picks up his 3rd. Knight missing the first. Next Thursday on Survivor, one castaway could be forced to leave the game. Don't miss a new episode when Survivor returns next Thursday on CBS, America's #1 network. 1 of 2 from the line for Knight. The winner of this game takes on the Memphis Tigers, who dismantled Bradley. Rodney Carney, All-America as well for Coach John Calipari, having an excellent game. Darius Washington Jr. also with a double-digit effort at 10 in the first half. Roll. Farmar deep. Got his man in the air. No look pass. Roll. Step back jump shot. And he buries it. And a timeout called. 13:09 to play. 51-43. Zags. And a look at the game summary by half.
Well, for UCLA, a tale of two halves. You look at the shooting percentage in the second half where they couldn't throw it in the ocean in the first half. But again, Gonzaga holding on despite just shooting 22%. And again, it comes down to UCLA's attack against the Gonzaga defense. More penetration, more ball movement off the penetration, entry passes inside, put pressure on the defense.
Fargo and Morrison walking up the floor. Now Morrison, the junior, draws Mbamute, the freshman. This freshman has great energy. Flalo with 4 fouls. Morrison inside. Batista kept it up high and banks it home.
Somebody along that back line for UCLA has to recognize when the screen is set that you got to step up on Batista.
Here's Morrison again on the rake and take. Leans in, double clutch, count it. Man.
Well, you see what happens. Quick shot by Roll turns into a fast break for Gonzaga. UCLA's got time to be a little more deliberate, get the ball where they want to. Again, putting pressure on the defense.
Morrison averages 28. He has 18 on 8 of 11 shooting. Mbamute, too strong. Fargo the other way. Morrison the trailer.
And that wasn't a shot UCLA wanted by Mbamute. You don't want to say something to him. You don't want to take away his aggressiveness.
And a travel on Batista. 12 turnovers against Gonzaga, 9 against UCLA. Zags as a team, 19 of 37 from the field, 51%. Bruins, 13 of 39, 33%. They're 3 of 15 from the stripe downtown.
UCLA's got to make it a point right now, set some kind of benchmark, maybe get it under double digits with about 8 minutes left. And then you can bring a Flalo back and get the most out of him.
Foul called on Mbamute. That's his 4th. Back after this.
Number 5, Eric Rivio returns for Gonzaga. Number 12, Alfredo Moya returns for
11:52 to play in the second half. Gonzaga with a 55-43 lead. UCLA cut a 17-point deficit to 6 with 15:45 remaining. But the Zags have responded with a 9-3 run. And talk about some serious basketball players in attendance. That's the great Bill Russell on the left, and Big Red, the great Bill Walton on the right.
2 of the standards for big men play. And obviously 2 Hall of Famers, among the greatest college players to ever don uniforms.
Remember Bill Walton, 21 of 22 from the field against Memphis.
Oh, I remember that. I watched that film to prepare for our battle my senior year.
And you blocked his shot twice from what I heard.
Yeah. That's all right. They still beat us by 1 in Pauley.
There you go.
In Pauley. Bill's a good friend and terrific human being. And Bill Russell, what can you say? Just an idol of mine and just about any other big man who thought about playing defense and thought about winning. University of San Francisco graduate who San Francisco is the host of this Oakland Regional.
In the corner of Flalo, back in, buries a jump shot on the baseline. He has 7 points. Rivio quickly. Now Morrison off the dribble, pivots,
Should have been an
and
offensive
travel.
foul. Should have been an offensive foul as he lowered his shoulder to make room. But every once in a while, there are stretches when UCLA can play pretty good defense on Morrison. What they've got to be able to do is link the good defense on Morrison, good overall team defense, and putting together a string of successful offensive possessions.
Now foul on the other side on Knight. Fouling.
When you look at the star comparison, obviously Gonzaga getting the best of it. Morrison and Batista on top of their games, and Farmar and Aflalo really struggling. Aflalo obviously having the unenviable task of trying to guard Adam Morrison as well.
Back-to-back fouls on Knight against Aflalo. He's using his hands. And that's the 4th foul on Errol Knight.
Fourth team foul at the half of the Bulldogs.
Altidore Cespedes replaces him as Knight heads to the bench with his fourth.
And Fallow's got to get used to the fact that Gonzaga's going to go aggressive against him. He's got 4 fouls. He's got to keep his emotion in check, play a disciplined brand of offense where he doesn't push off, doesn't try to create space that's not a natural creation of it, and lowering the shoulder or anything like that.
Flalo averages 16, leading scorer, has 7, lets it fly, and he'll go to the line. And will shoot 3.
This is what I mentioned at the point in time when you got to get a Flalo back in the ball game and get the most that you can out of him despite the 4 fouls.
So Aaron Flalo at the line. Win an NCAA-related prize every 35 seconds at mycokerewards.com/NCAA. UCLA as a team 14 of 20 from the line. Gonzaga 16 of 20. And the referees want to see if it's a 2 or a 3-point attempt by Aaron Aflalo. You be the judge.
You take a look at him setting up right there. That's definitely a 3. Got about 6-8 inches behind that line.
So he will shoot 2 more. 10:37 to play. 57-46. UCLA, after trailing by 17, has been as close as 6 here in the second half.
Boy, again, like I said, you set benchmarks, try to get it under double digits. Still, in my mind, they can go to 8 minutes before it happens, but Aflalo missing out on a grand opportunity.
1 of 3, 10-point game. Rivio, Mallon, Morrison, Batista, Altidore Cespedes for the Zags. Now Morrison popping out on the wing. Rivio beats his man off the dribble. Morrison wheeling inside, lets it go. And gets the bounce.
Nice and soft on the rim, shooter's roll. And that's not luck, that's skill. Utilizing some terrific backspin.
Farmar trying to answer, no. Morrison, 9 of 12 from the field, 20 points, 5 boards.
You just kind of hate to see Farmar just settle. Work a little bit harder, push the ball, push the envelope against the defense. He had an opportunity. There was a lane to the basket.
Now Morrison squaring up on Bozeman. Hard across the lane, step back jumper. Mallon with the rebound.
See, those are the things that you cannot allow to happen. Make a good stop and they get a second opportunity.
Outlet pass, Aflalo tracks it down. He's got Farmar. And he has it rejected by Mallon. Not a very good pass by Aflalo.
Sometimes when you're basketball royalty, you get away with some stuff. Look at that left arm, a little bit of a push off, freezes the defender, allows Morrison to step back. And I'm sure we have seen that with a lot of the top scorers in America today. That's maybe something that people teach. Certainly it's instinctive. Create room, and when you're a great scorer, you usually don't get called on it.
Morrison out of the game. Pendergraft replaces him. 9:20 to go, second half. Aflalo, quick release.
Got no legs under it. Again, the lateral pass for the 3 is not nearly as effective as the inside out because the shooter doesn't flow into the shot.
Mallon draws a bump, and he's called for traveling. 14 turnovers, and after the second round game against Indiana when Morrison battled a temperature, he has come back 20 points tonight at 35 in the first round against Xavier.
Hey, now let's say he also fought a better brand of defense from a scrappy Indiana Hoosier team. You know, today there's some effort from UCLA defense, but they made some fundamentally poor defensive mistakes.
Farmar down low, nice pass. Ryan Hollins almost ripped down the goal. And there's that dribble penetration you've been talking about.
Yeah, I don't know why Farmar would even pull up to take a three unless it was a wide open from an inside pass.
Mark Few calls a timeout. 8:31 to play, second half. UCLA down, but remaining aggressive. 59-49, Gonzaga with the lead. 8:31 to play here in the second half. The winner to advance to the Elite Eight to take on the Memphis Tigers. Tigers defeating Bradley 80-64 in our first game of the night in Oakland. Rodney Carney putting on a show, 23 points. He was 7 of 12 from the field. Darius Washington Jr. with 18 points on 8 of 14 shooting. Had 10 in the first half. Here's Rivio inside. Batista, jump hook, banks it home. He used his body to shield off Hollins. Bozeman, off balance, kept alive by Morrison, rebounded by Pendergraft, and a foul called on Ryan Hollins.
A little frustration by Hollins, and there's a way to cure that frustration. Hollins broke open, posted up strongly inside. Teammates have to get him the ball.
61-49, Zags on top of the Bruins. A 3 versus a 2. The winner to advance to the Elite Eight, where the Memphis Tigers, the #1 seed in Oakland, awaits. They defeated Bradley earlier this evening, 80-64, behind 23 points from Rodney Carney on 7 of 12 shooting, and 18 points from Darius Washington Jr. on 8 of 14 shooting.
And in this game, UCLA with a horrendous first half on both ends of the floor. You couldn't play any worse than that, but you know, they rallied towards the end of the first half, came out smoking in the beginning of the second half. Got it to 10. They've been flirting with getting it under double digits, but not able to get over the hump. A huge psychological hump if they can get it done. It's about 8 minutes left.
Here comes Farmar. Zags back in the zone. It's caused UCLA some problems. Hollins, baseline, 12-footer, rattles home. He's had a great game.
Just as I mentioned, the previous possession, he broke wide open underneath the basket. No one got him the ball. He got frustrated, committed a foul. That's how you keep the big guys happy and keep them working. Acknowledge them a little bit.
Now we're going to ping-pong you back and forth between this game and Texas, West Virginia. We'll definitely get you out to the finish. Zags up 62-51 now. Morrison.
And you see UCLA switching on the high screen now, trying to prevent the roll by Batista. That's been so effective for Gonzaga, but you got to pay for it.
Adam Morrison has a pro game, 22 points. You rarely see guys with that mid-range game anymore. Flalo block, gets his own rebound, and one. Morrison flopping around, and he has frustrated Flalo this evening. So here come the Zags back on the floor, along with the Bruins. Flalo will go to the line. 64-53. Gonzaga. (64-54). Zags with the lead. 11 points for Aaron Aflalo. He had 4 at halftime. UCLA is trailed by as many as 17. They've cut it to 6 here in the second half. They haven't been able to get any closer. Pendergraft guarded by Amute. Now Rivio driving.
Good recognition by Rivio again. Aggressive to the basket. Gonzaga, that's how they continue to keep this lead, putting pressure on UCLA.
Rivio with 12 points. He averages 11. Gonzaga gets back in that 2-3 zone. And we've seen very little penetration from the Bruins tonight against this zone.
Look at Hollins, keeps breaking open in front of Batista. And when Hollins links, guys should be thinking about getting him the ball.
Aflalo a 3. Count it. He has 14 now. 66-57.
Got it under that magic double-digit deficit.
And a reaching foul on Farmar.
Personal foul, UCLA, number 1.
And that will send Pargo to the line to shoot 1 and 1. 9 team fouls against the Bruins. Farmar picks up his second.
And by now, during this game, Jordan Farmar should understand how the officials are calling the game. You know, when you get over that hump, you don't want to give easy points away. You know, you play solid defense, position defense, force the other guy to make a mistake. There's plenty of time.
So Pargo heading to the free throw line.
Texas 74, West Virginia 71. Jeremy Pargo at the line for the Zags. He's shooting 1 and 1.
So Pargo, first free throw good. Gonzaga as a team shoots 78% from the free throw line. And Jeremy Pargo has an older brother, Gennaro Pargo, who played at Arkansas. Now plays with the Chicago Bulls. 1 of 2. 5:50 to play here in the second half. Gonzaga with a 67-57 lead. And how about the Texas Longhorns winning at the buzzer over West Virginia? Paulino hitting the jump shot for the Longhorns. And they will advance to the Final 8 to take on LSU.
Well, that's the second time those teams have played. The first game they played earlier this year was a one-pointer in the Guardians Classic up in Kansas City, and now Kenton Paulino with a big 3 at the buzzer. And sometimes it takes that kind of luck when you're on this level in the Sweet 16 to ek one out.
Number 25, David Pendergraft checks into the Zags, replacing Adam Morrison.
Oakland, California. Gonzaga a 3 against UCLA at 2. Zags lead at 67-57. They led at one time by 17, 37-20. But UCLA came back in the second half to cut it to 6. But the Zags still pulling away. Bozeman down the lane. The teardrop with the left hand goes. The winner of this game will take on the Memphis Tigers, who defeated Bradley in our opener 80-64 behind 23 points from Rodney Carney and 18 points from Darius Washington. Memphis has played both of these teams this season. Ball blocked by Hollins, but goaltending is the call. Memphis has played both of these teams, beating Gonzaga 83-72 and UCLA 88-80.
Well, obviously that's clearly goaltending, but the story of this game is UCLA coming out like deer in headlights. Really played tentatively, couldn't have played a worse first half. Suddenly got their bearings towards the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half to make it a ball game. As you mentioned, brought it to within 6, but never able to get over the psychological hump of cutting the deficit under double digits until now. Now they're starting to get the feeling.
But is it too little too late? 4:53 to go. 69-62 Gonzaga. 69-62 Gonzaga reset it for you. UCLA out of timeouts. Adam Morrison has an easy 22 this evening.
Well, he's taking on all comers for UCLA. They try to variety defenders, but he's shooting 10 of 14 from the field. Only 1 of 4 from beyond the arc. That means he's gone to his mid-range and his close-in game, which shows you his versatility.
Let's see if the Zags tighten up a bit. They've led this entire ball game. UCLA creeping closer. Man to man now. Rabbio Throws it inside for Batista.
Boy, Holland's face guarded. He didn't even see the ball. You can't play defense like that. Lucky Batista didn't walk to the basket for an easy layup.
Now Morrison hard down the lane. Rejected. Hollins in the hands. Batista, no. Knight gets up. Taken away by Bozeman. Here come the Bruins. Farmar has struggled.
Key possession, though. You got to make sure you get a good one or get fouled. Can't bail out with an easy three. That's what Gonzaga's inviting. Even in a man.
Farmar running the pick and roll with Hollins. Hollins has been excellent for UCLA. The most consistent player on the floor. Mbamute off the dribble. The freshman.
He's gotten bumped
Let
3
it go.
times.
No.
He's gotten bumped 3 times and no call.
69-62 as Morrison brings it up the floor.
And it's kind of disheartening when you go at the basket hard, get bumped several times, no call, and then they call that kind of stuff.
Got a point, partner. Looks a little one-sided. The game reset. UCLA out of timeouts. Bruins with 10 team fouls. Gonzaga with 6. 69-62 as you take a look at the foul trouble. 2 Bruins with 4. Knight with 4 for Gonzaga. Adam Morrison ready to go to the line, shooting 2.
I think the key numbers there are 1. UCLA is now allowed Gonzaga to shoot them double bonus. And no timeouts for UCLA. If they mount a comeback, it's going to be very tricky for Ben Howland to manage it.
So Adam Morrison going to the line. He has 22 points, is 1 of 2 at the free throw line this evening. Gets the first. And don't forget, tonight it's David Letterman. He has Sean Diddy Combs plus a special snowboarding top 10, and salsa and chips get dumped from the roof. Second free throw good. 71-62. Gonzaga with the lead. 3:25 to play in the second half. The winner to move on to take on the Memphis Tigers for a spot in the Final Four. Inside, and a foul call. This one will go, I believe, against Knight. If so, it's his 5th. And that will be it for him this evening.
I can tell you what, as UCLA has to face this 2-3 zone going forward. Nice adjustment by Gonzaga in moving Batista up. When the ball's at the top, they move Batista, who's the middle guy on that back line. They move him up closer to the free throw line whenever it looks like penetration is going to be made to try to deter that penetration. That's the only way UCLA has had any success against the 2-3 zone.
Luke Richard Mbamute gets the first.
And on the other end, of course, when Gonzaga gets possession, expect Adam Morrison to have his hands on the ball often.
Second free throw good. Sub coming in. The freshman, Darren Collison, comes in the game. The winner here, as we mentioned, takes on Memphis.
A team that both of these teams played earlier in the year and neither one beat.
Morrison double teamed in the corner. Tries to dribble out of it, leaves his feet. And a skip pass. Pargo can't hold on. Pressure paying off for the Bruins. 15 turnovers for Gonzaga.
Well, it was sudden pressure, appropriately applied. Wound up having Batista handling the ball, but here's where UCLA, again, getting over the psychological hump. Get a turnover, you've got to find a way to score.
Kick ball by Ravio. We mentioned that Memphis has defeated both of these teams. Tigers defeated Gonzaga 83-72 and UCLA 88-80 back on November 23rd. Farmar, deep 3. Aflalo, rebound, has it taken away by Mallon. And Aflalo gets up slowly. Now Gonzaga will waste as much time as possible. Rivio. Morrison. Off the bounce. Steps back. 15-footer, no.
Pretty good defense by Flalo that time. He was playing it with 4 fouls.
Farmer to the basket. The runner. Omumamute, and the putback.
What a tremendous offensive rebounder. I told you, he led the Pac-10 in offensive rebounding, but he just has a nose for the ball, commands the weak side.
2 minutes to go. UCLA fans rising to their feet. They need stops right here. Under 2. Farmar reaching in. Came close. They're trying to isolate Morrison now, and a timeout called by Gonzaga. 1:48 to play. Bruins aren't done yet. 71-66, Gonzaga with the lead. As you take a look at the reset, Zags with only 1 timeout remaining. UCLA trailed in the first half 37-20. Ben Howland did not panic. Patiently, his team has worked back into this game. Adam Morrison with a quiet 24. The winner of this game takes on Memphis for a trip to the Final Four.
Well, let's make it clear now. Both of these teams know how to win. UCLA's won 9 in a row, 14 of the last 16, and Gonzaga's coming here winning 20 straight. So they know how to win. They've come from behind, and also they've played with leads.
Rivio. Rebounded Batista. And Collison comes out with it. Here come the Bruins. Collison, the freshman, to the basket. Got it! And they wave it off.
The only reason that they could wave that off is if the the block came before he let it go. How can you wave that off? How can you wave that off? Player was in the act of shooting, took off when the contact was made. The only way you wave it off is if the contact was made before he went into the act and before he left the floor. At least from that angle, it looked as though he was in the act of shooting. He pulled the ball up off the dribble.
So Collison at the line. Now Pargo hands it off to Morrison. 1:24 to go.
Well, you got to make your breaks. Collison, 82% free throw shooter. He's got to knock those down.
Pargo's got a good handle on the ball as the Zags run the weave. Morrison guarded by Bozeman. Morrison fighting down the lane, in and out. Ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Gonzaga.
The last play by Collison. Here he is on the drive. Contact was made, unless it looked as though Rivio might have reached in. But even then, he had already pulled the ball up. There's just no way.
A minute to play, 71-66. Farmar turns the corner. Runner, got it! 50.2 to go. Gonzaga up 71-68. Rivio. What do you do now for UCLA defensively?
You got to play defense and make a stop without fouling. You got time.
And a timeout call by the Zags. 40.8 to go. 26 on the shot clock. 71-68. Both teams out of timeouts. Gonzaga in the double bonus. UCLA shooting 1-1. Zags with the 71-68 lead after leading big in the first half, 37-20. Adam Morrison has 24 points. Coach Howland's team, though, continues to fight. They've got to play serious defense for the next 26 seconds and try to keep this a one-possession game. They give it to the All-America. Morrison in the backcourt. And he quickly gets it over the midcourt line. Hands it off to Rivio, the point guard. They give it to Morrison, guarded by Farmar. Step back jumper deep. Off the heel. Loose ball. And a foul. On who? It will go, I believe, against Batista.
Take a look. Morrison drive to the baseline, the fadeaway. Good defense by Farmar. And there's Batista right. I didn't see a foul on that one either. I saw a pretty good block out by both guys, unless there was some hand play that undetected by the replay angle.
Not a bad man to foul. Hollins, a 60% free throw shooter. 1-and-1, gets the first. 71-69.
Well, the problem is UCLA, if they make or miss, they've got a foul. Instead of making a good stop and getting an opportunity to shoot the three for the tie.
Second free throw good. 71-70. So even with 2 made free throws, UCLA will still have a chance if they can rebound to tie this game up. Pendergraft, the inbounder on the baseline.
And the only guy that you might think of fouling is Jeremy Pargo at 69%.
They throw it to Morrison. He holds on.
Well, you don't want to foul Morrison. You make him get it over half court. You know you got to foul.
And a steal! Farmer! Inside! The freshman up! Oh, and they go in front! Rivio! Last chance to dance over
Unbelievable!
Oh, what a game!
Unbelievable!
What a game! UCLA! Unbelievable!
Are you kidding me?
After being down by 17, Heartbreak City.
Holy mackerel.
.6 to go. UCLA has climbed the mountain. Bozeman, Aflalo fouled with 1.9 to go. And he will shoot 2. Adam Morrison, is this it for him? After leading the entire ball game. The nation's #2 scorer went down earlier. Now Adam Morrison, the leading scorer in the nation, needs a miracle. As Aflalo goes to the line, an 80% free throw shooter.
2 shots.
He's left the door open for a miracle to occur.
And they've got to put it in the hands of Morrison. Second free throw is good. Hollins comes into the game. He'll guard the ball. Pendergraft, the inbounder.
On any long pass, trying to get it to half court, you still want to go after the ball like you're a cornerback.
In the front court, Batista with the catch! And that's it! What a comeback! UCLA defeats Gonzaga 73-71 after being down by 17.
As I mentioned, you've seen so many of these shots get hit because you don't go after the ball aggressively. That time Batista still makes the catch, but not in a good position. You got to go after the ball like you're a quarterback in football. UCLA very fortunate, but then again, they earned this one. Winning basket right here. Batista kind of casual with the ball. Gets it taken away, and then look at the vision by Farmar. Finding Umba Amute. Presence of mind. You play the worst that you could play in the first half, go down 17, and you get a young team like this to show this kind of character and poise. And the flip side, you get a veteran team that falls apart at the end. Unbelievable.
And that tells a story in what could be the final game of the career of Adam Morrison. Our Chevrolet players of the game. Ryan Hollins was terrific for UCLA, and Adam Morrison, 24 points. UCLA down 71-62 with 3:27 left. They get the last 11 points of the game to win, and we have a 1 versus a 2 in Oaktown. Adam Morrison, is that the final time he plays in college? We'll see. UCLA moves on dramatically, 73-71.